when you are campaigning is money. But you see, these guys will 3 months from now, just 90 days from now, after the excitement has gone down, go back to the old lamentation. We cannot be a country of lamenters. We have got the key to the shackles that are actually tying us. Zile pingu zimetufunga tuko na hiyo key. The Constitution 2010 gives us the power because this government is no longer about serikali. This government makes, or rather this constitution gives us the power. It is a participatory government. And that is why the sunshine clauses from Article 33, 32 going all the way to 38 exist in the constitution. For me, that is the torch that helps us go places. But we have embraced darkness and left out light deliberately. Correct. And then we will be making noise tomorrow. Today, of course, when he speaks, people are like, Jimmy is just angry because he was locked out of the presidential race. He was denied business and everything else. Yet, we are in a similar way. I'm running in Dagoretti North. And I've been telling the guys in Kawangware, Gatina, and Kabiro that the people who live in Kileleshwa and you guys who live in Kawangware are not different. I'll give you an example. If you go to Kawangware, kuna mitungi za maji, hizi za 20 liters, people selling that. If you go to Kileleshwa, kuna clean water. What is the difference? Hali ya mkeka ndio hali ya gunia. These guys are suffering the same way. Hamuna maji, hawana maji. The only problem is that huyu mwingine anaweza lipa 3,000 ya kuleta clean water. Wewe unalipa yako 20 bob. What's the difference? All of you lack water. It's only that you love your version of poverty. The other one embraces their version of poverty. In fact, we do not have a middle class. You know that. We have got a missing middle in our pyramid. Because what we have here are pseudo middle class.
Wannabes.
As in, they are gatekeepers. As in, it's pseudo middle class. Those guys are the same. There's no difference. Kama hauna maji, wewe unaleta clean water ya tank. Unaleta yake na mtungi ya mkokoteni. It's the same thing. So, from where we are, all of us are in the same pot. It's just the same degrees, different degrees. Kama chini ya sufuria kabisa ndio moto sana. At the end of the day, we are all boiling. And we will actually be a stew.
And I read the comments as well briefly, then I get back to Mheshimiwa. And I remember there's someone who gave an analogy. Last night, just after the debate, we were having a conversation here. We had a conversation late into around 11 p.m. And we also having the conversation around the public debt from what the Deputy President confessed. And there's someone who came, of course, as usual. You're just speaking about that for the sake of it. And one of the guys here said that we're in a boiling pot. It's boiling. We all feel it. That it's hot here. You can feel that. It's hot here. It's not very comfortable. But when someone comes in and tells you, guys, are you aware that you're boiling? You say, wewe, umetumwa na nani? But I mean, you can feel it. It's actually boiling. Yes. We are going, the way he's saying, the ones who are at the bottom are even being decimated. They're melting off. Yes. But the ones who are feeling a bit warm, it's like a toad or a frog. Yes. It feels nice until it boils. Yes. And when someone comes and says, guys, you're boiling. And say, wewe umetumwa na nani? Wamui Mashari anauliza, hiyo yote ni deni. Ole Muringi Jr., it's the courage of a leader that inspires confidence in the acts of his followers. Congratulations, Jimmy Wanjigi. Jeff Sawe, Kenya Kwanza must find a space for Jimmy Wanjigi in the government. Okay. Jeff Kimade Mbwira, JW is smart and articulate. Kevin Coleman Katuri, come listen to your guy. Okay. Muammar Gaddafi Mustafa, good to see you. Jeff Sika, where are the parliamentarians we elect when all these shenanigans are happening? How come no one brings these questions to parliament? Jeff, so some parliamentarians should be jailed kabisa, wafungwe. I think we've spoken on the Auditor General report. That is what Kanji John is bringing up here. Is Jimmy saying that the Auditor General has not accessed these reports and given verdicts? If that office has given an opinion, then that is a better place to start, and it's authoritative. All right. So I think they stand. Now it's their burden of proof to prove that this...
Actually, I think here, a response to him would be so simple that this is a collation and an analysis of publicly available documents, including AOG's documents and reports. So, as no one, we are not saying that we've actually created something from anywhere else. We've collected things that exist. It's just a summation of what has been happening over that time. And no one has done it over that time. You know, if Kibaki left us with about 2 trillion. The truth is that we could actually have paid from this mathematics. That's why I'm actually insisting that
Tungale
my
paranga kwanza na tuanze
conclusion
zero.
is that is it possible for a nation to be debt-free? Yes, it is. If you look at the mathematics and how we've come, has it improved? For example, Kibaki left about a third of us, using the data they actually provided, in poverty. Of course, the Jubilee administration has taken another 30%.
In addition.
In addition to what Kibaki did. So we've raised more money, we've taken more people back to poverty. That's why I still insist, wouldn't it be better for us to be this number of people back into poverty, but having raised that money, it means that we could actually, and you can't trace where the other money is.
Correct.
So
Correct.
we could actually be be debt free, because the indicator on unemployment has not worked out.
Okay. All right. Jeff Sawe says the Auditor General is a government appointee. He's an appointee of the president. Not actually government. He is an appointee of the president. She has been state captured. Okay. David Egon, karibia. Asante Jeff Sawe. Uhuru Kenyatta aende to committee. Mawira Freddy, good morning, Gerald, watching from Quantity 07. There's something I wanted to pick up here. Okay, there's something I wanted to pick up here. There's something that has come up, and I'll throw that to Mheshimiwa once I'm done with the comments. Why the net, and Kanji John was trying to explain why the net debt is static or is constant. He's saying when the net debt figure does not reduce, it's because the government is able to take debt to pay off another debt. And that's why I think that's where the problem is. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. But
So who is Paul?
all right. We'll get to that. Daniel Misoi, Pandora's Papers, aka offshore account client number 131173. Dr. Ansema, we want this kind of people, WANJIGI, in budget structuring. Rosemary Kabugi, I like this conversation today. Thank you, Daniel Misoi. The conversation is an eye-opener. Eric says, whatever WANJIGI is saying, I think we should listen and digest. We need a copy of that document. All right. I think I'll give you a website link. Please, I'll ask the gentleman to send me a website link so that we can share with these gentlemen. About Juguna subsidies. Interestingly, the following day ships are in the port with maize. After subsidy, nini inaingia. Kitu inaitwa ship. Back to you, Mheshimiwa. You've listened to this gentleman.
I must say, my good fellow guests, I can't even buttress what they have said. They've understood it. They have broadened its perspective, and very apt contributions. There's the issue of Parliament, and I agree that Parliament is fully responsible in this, because the Constitution does anchor their oversight role from Wananchi. And this was why during the campaign, one of my biggest slogans was Fagia Wote, right? They are, whether by complicity, right, or by sheer lack of capacity, complicit to this heist. It's a heist. It's the biggest heist ever in the Republic of Kenya, over $100 billion. Wow. So I stick to that. Fagia Wote. They really must go. Okay. Yeah, they have helped create this pain. I love the terminology debt revolution, because that is something that is emancipating. It is something that will carry on for generations to come. People need to know and understand and appreciate that debt is slavery. It has been created around our necks as slavery, right to the extent of Fuliza. So you take away our capacity to earn by creating a huge public debt of wash. And then, because we cannot make ends meet, you create an instrument called Fuliza. And if we look at Fuliza, it's important to understand which is the transmitting bank behind that, right? If you look at domestic debt, it's important to see where and who is the biggest purchaser of domestic debt.
Where's the money going?
Which bank is the biggest and largest purchaser of domestic debt. It's important to see, because it will tell you who Paul is, right? Right? Who the X is. It becomes clearer and clearer. Now, I thank my good brother Juange, who says that this is an expose. An expose like Yethongo's expose. This is the biggest expose because this goes right to the thinking of really what has been happening the last 60 years of Kenya's independence. What really has been going on here that has made a Kenyan feel that their existence is one of struggle, only struggle, not one of happiness and greatness. That you just wake up every day just to try and make sure that your family can live, rather than, to survive, not live, survive, rather than living. Rather than living. Because we are not human beings just made to survive. We have passed the caveman days. We are people who want to live and are capable of living, right? A life that is fruitful for each and every one of us. So what is this? What is this? This is what I call an orchestrated plot that has got its local home guards and an orchestrated plot to ensure enslavement and continue enslavement so that the few people in the world benefit from our sweat and labor. Benefit at the cost of our living, making us people who just survive. And it is a way of suppressing greatness. This document that we have unleashed, Kenyans, I intend to market it extensively, Kenyans, because it is our freedom. And it is not just our economic freedom, it becomes our political freedom. Because enslavement is a political concept. It is not just an economic concept. It is a political concept, right, of sabotaging our freedom. We intend to market this so that those who are behind it face the full force of our laws. The full force of our laws. And those who perpetuate it face the full force of our laws. And that the greatness of our people, today and tomorrow and for future generations, will now be shown to the world. And we start the concept of freedom from Kenya to what I believe is a plague in sub-Saharan Africa, out of this so-called wash debt. Yes.
Wash debt. We have been told that the current and the mega scandals in Africa is misaligned and wrong projects. The current debt is not taking money as they were, though that is also there, but projects that are not budgeted or are misaligned or are meant for, or they don't happen. But I think even deeper than that is that look at how inappropriate our education is. Because our education is not supposed to develop critical thinking.
Correct.
This is an economy class, this is what national debt is, this is what this bond is, class, economy 4-1, do exams, you are an economist. But it actually takes another eye. You see, I'm more interested as a teacher that asking questions is more important than answers. But we have been trained not to ask questions on the validity of the debt. That should be given. Question tunaanza kuuliza na how do we pay?
Usianze mambo ya hii.
Why are there really debts? So you can see that our socialization is very limited. Our education is very limited. We cast an eye with assumption that imesemwa iko and therefore iko.
So well put.
Yeah, and that is a result, in my view, as a teacher, of a miseducation. That there is a box, and education is just formal education is meant to just help you to some extent stay within that box. And when you look out of the box, people wonder, are you an economist? Because economists, we are discussing X and Y up and down kwa box. And that is why, as they have aptly put it, we have a false conscious. And there is nothing as somebody who is half-educated, so they are both arrogant and incompetent. because the education is simply measuring how good you can speak some English and not so much critical thinking and issue spotting. Look at it in terms of what we are looking at, what capitalism did is to exchange goods and services to the discussion about money. When we were colonized, we were doing barter trade. There's no way you can trick me with barter trade. Umelete mbuzi, nimelete mahindi. Hii mbuzi na mahindi haziendani. Ni kazi ya kuona na macho. But then what the Western people did is, no. You go sell your mbuzi. Go sell your cows. Come to my shop, I sell you a flash disk. So you cannot compare equal things. So you find a flash disk that is worth 20,000. That is one cow. Imagine if we were doing barter trade and you are told to bring a cow for flash disk, you'll start seeing the injustice. But even beyond that, think of the colonization. They came with positive laws and principles meant to colonize. And those are the same principles we regurgitate because nobody's thinking out of the box. Those are the principles we like to cite to show that we are learned and educated. And those principles, terra nullius, for example, this is land without people. And anytime we focus on money and not goods and services, like Jimmy is now saying, what were being offered here? Which you think should be a very fundamental question. No, let's just focus that we have a debt and this is how we are going to pay it. So in this extent, I'm looking at what does this do. The consequences of this is poverty, as Anwar was trying to show us and connecting further the dot of what this money could have done. Underdevelopment, or no development. And you see, when we talk of state capture, a few theft here and there is stealing an egg, but this is taking the chicken, the hen itself.
Yes.
You have heard of the analogy where some people who are working in a factory and there was a watchman who is to check that you don't live with any part. And every evening, one old man will pass by there. This was a factory making wheelbarrows. He will pass by there, pushing a wheelbarrow. The watchman will come check inside the wheelbarrow. There is no part. Check him, there is no part. But he's literally stealing wheelbarrow every day. But the watchman is trained to check for parts. Make sure nobody passes here with parts. But he's just taking the whole wheelbarrow. Correct. This is exactly what is happening. And it is so big that if somebody don't have the megabyte, he'll dismiss it. That is the only reaction you must do with it. Either you dismiss it. I saw somebody with a sticker, I've made up my mind. Don't confuse me with your facts. Yes. I don't want to know. Or if you start wrapping your mind on it, then you are realizing we have been asking the wrong questions. At least start from there, that you might not even find the answer, but start from the issue of, are there debts? Are they valid? Who is being owed? What were the goods? What were the services? So that we don't...
Why do we even have the debt to begin
with? So that you don't become... Why are they breaking the laws to do this? Is it that they just didn't notice the law, or there is the real scheme? What is actually going on? And those questions, once you start asking like that, most of our so-called learned people, except Arnold there, seriously, very consistent, what we had in primary school, they will have a prefect, and the job of a prefect is to hold your hands as you are being spanked. Most of our economists are holding our hands down. They are telling us, Juan, don't look beyond what you are seeing. You are being too curious. You don't understand the economic language. All of us go to shops, whether you are poor in maths or you like maths. All of us can get a loan, whether you like maths or not. But at the end of the day, we just assume that the system is fair. Wakisema hii ndio interest you owe, you accept. But unfortunately, a few noisy people like Jimmy once in a while ask that bank, this does not make sense. I might not have the language to articulate it, but this does not make sense. And then after the investigation, you realize, oh, you have overpaid. Oh, yeah, we made a mistake, an innocent mistake. Remember when one of them was Minister of Finance, where, oopsie, I've added a zero. It was meant to be a full stop, but it just happened to be a zero in the budget. Thank you. It was a note.
Gentlemen, we have 10 minutes to go. I'd like that to share this. 10 minutes. Oh, but I'll give you 2 minutes. I know. Then I'll give Mheshimiwa 5. Then we'll end up with all right.
Oopsie. I'm at actually a stage in my life now where, at least temporarily, where I'm not doing a lot of the critical thinking he speaks of. You know, he once told somebody that you are, I think you're in that space. But I'm like a grenade. If I'm thrown against the wall, the enemy suffer. Anyway, so
there's another one where he talks about phonies, fake phonies.
Fantastic, phony, and fabulous.
Fantastic phonies and fabulous.
Yeah, so you know, when you are campaigning, you actually learn a lot of the fear of God, however difficult you are. I love using the term "a little fear of God" because even things that look so obvious can actually really humble you. Yeah, because people know their problems, but they are like kind of, that we know, those solutions we know, but are you untying us?
Untie us.
That's the only thing people want to listen. Like I've kept on saying, that the only policy that is currently being fluently spoken on the ground, the one that can be listened to and the one that people can speak fluently is money. And I actually say that repeatedly because I am not afraid to speak about these things. One time too many, we love to lie to voters that we are okay. You know, when you lie to voters, you're lying to yourself as well. Like the Jubilee administration promised in 2013. That is why, one of the reasons why we're here. They wanted to make us happy. They took a lot of Vision 2030 things that had been visualized and ran with a few of them and just rebranded them and called them the Jubilee Manifesto. Without necessarily going back to the foundation that worked out the Vision 2030 and how we wanted to achieve it. They just picked a few flashy projects, renamed them. The way we do rebadging on vehicles, you have got a Subaru today and it's a Toyota. Same thing, everything, just the rebadging bit of it. So he spoke of education. These are some of these things that we didn't talk about. And I don't know why we love to synonymize numeracy and literacy as education. It's not. Napoleon Hill actually says that an educated man is not one necessarily with 2 or 3 degrees, but one who can get whatever they want without violating the rights of others.
Correct.
How many of us can do that?
Correct.
Yeah, so you can actually have 2-3 degrees and you're not really educated. You're quite a fool. And you know that a lot of educated fools actually fill these spaces. Igade has said in the past that a degree certificate is not a milk card. It's actually a hunting license. A lot of people, including the people he produces at his institution, they come out with certificates and they wave them around like they are milk cards. You know, a milk card is an entitlement that if I check it in,
you give me food.
You give me food. So, education in and of itself should be an enabler. He speaks about critical thinking. In military parlance, old men who have gone to war and come back, like my father, my late father, and other people, will tell you that it takes a lot of discipline to know where the attack is coming from than to answer back. You know, discipline in military terms is not the obedience thing. You know, the discipline to actually respond if somebody tells you fire and you actually just respond. They say it takes a lot of discipline to know where in a shooting, in an ambush, it takes a lot of discipline to know where the fire is coming from than to actually respond back to it.
Fast, yeah.
Because the fog of war, and you know that is what campaigns are. I actually wanted to go there. Campaign is actually the fog of war. We are giving people an access into the vault. People are breaking into a granary. So there's a lot of shooting in the air. The voters do not have discipline. Politicians too, including some of them who will win, do not have the discipline to know where the enemy is, to know where the challenge is. So all of us just run, and then all of us, then when the rain stops, mnajiuliza, were we really sheltering ama tumesimama kwa mvua? Because there's too much going around.
Allow me to pick just 2 calls so that I'll give you to wrap up.
Okay.
The last one. Okay. Good morning. Please, you can have your headphones on if you can. Please. Good morning to you. How are you doing? How are you?
How are you?
Salama sana, mambo vipi? I'm not sure you guys can hear.
Poa sana, labda wewe.
Sema nakusikia.
Uko mzima? This is Celilia from South Korea. I got an interest today in the tackle.
Okay.
I want to just point out some few things, and of course, one say kwamba asante kwanza kwa JM and the team and the guest.
Okay.
But what is the plan going forward apart from the books? Because awareness is the key.
Right.
But how do we take awareness to implementation, so that we don't just come up with the books and shelve them? We have a lot of papers in different capacities. We have a lot of documentation. We have shelves in our shelves, and especially on the issues of Kenya. How do we move from this shelving of our documentations and creating awareness to implementation, so that we can have a futuristic hope to our Kenyans on the issue of the corruption, and especially what has happened to our money?
All right. Any other question?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And say hello to Korea. Let me out South Korea.
I'd like to answer that question.
Thanks for a
very good question. I didn't get his name from South Korea.
What's your name again, sir?
Chalilia Plating Saurei.
Nice. Very good question. Very good question. Now, fortunately, we have an election in 2 weeks. And people like Arnold are on the ballot. We want Wananchi to vote in, not because of money they are being given, but vote in an MP who has first and foremost one very clear commitment, that they will not pass the payment of any more debt in any budget. They must commit and take an oath that they will not pay any more debt. Anybody who is seeking the presidency should make a clear commitment. They are not going to pay any more debt. Please, the document I have bothered to invest heavily in and produce is an accurate forensic investigation. There's no need of any other verification. It is their books. The investigation is right here. Okay. All they need to do is say they will not pay any more debt. That should be the commitment that anyone coming to government should give us. And that we must demand as Wananchi. 2, we have got various civic and court actions thereafter. And we intend to go worldwide on this issue. So just watch this space. It shall not be shelved in some drawer.
All right. Okay. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Salama sana. How are you doing? Who am I speaking to?
This is Doro from Indiana.
Indiana, Minneapolis.
Indianapolis.
Okay.
Oh, I lived in Indianapolis for 6 years.
All right. Speak on, Doro.
I really don't have a question. I just want to make a couple statements.
Please.
And one is to Mheshimiwa WANJIGI.
Yes.
I just want to let you know that we saw injustices that happened to you during the IEBC. And that really exposed who our chairman is and the it's all coming out and God is paying it back.
Yes.
And another thing is the other things I want to say, I think, Gerald, you know, do not match with the topic today. Next time, I just cannot wait to talk about the peace and Venezuela, but I will.
All right. At least
We
are not very far from Thursday. Tomorrow is Diaspora Edition. So you guys as diasporans, you have a whole 2 hours to ventilate on the issues that you have tomorrow. Kesho. Kesho Thursday. I'll see you guys on the Diaspora Edition. Hope you guys are ready for Diaspora.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Say hi to Indiana. Yeah, wasema Indiana. Unajua ndio unajua maneno yote. Nilijaribu kusema Massachusetts mahali pengine kanichanganya. Wanasema Massachusetts.
Yes.
All right, what about the questions, Mheshimiwa?
Let me thank her for her solidarity with what I went through with the IBC. It's the most ridiculous thing. But it's part of what we are now exposing. Tunapangwa. Na tumepangwa kutoka mahali. And there are certain people who are not wanted on the ballot because they know we intend to do and speak what is right for our people. And it goes against what they wish. These things have happened and used to happen during the dictatorship period of our history before multipartyism. And what you're seeing is a continual creeping in. We used to say it at the beginning of this term. There was a push against NGOs. There was then a push against churches. Okay? There's been a push on the subjugation of parliament. So in as much as we blame our MPs, many of them have not only been threatened, many have been bought, information is not given. It's been a continual creeping in of dictatorship. And this is part of the process of slavery. So as they're doing that politically, they're also doing so with money. We are going to resist. Kenya is a country that is a first of so many things. Today, the courts that we used to have just 5 years ago of Maraga that could nullify a presidential election, we don't quite know whether we have the same courts. Just to show you how far back we are going. Kenyans are a country of firsts. We are going to resist this. We resisted it with the Mzungu. We are the only country in Africa and in the colonial world of the British that fought for independence when they were great. Right? When they were called Great Britain, we fought them. Right? We are going to resist any local colonization, any local dictatorship. And we are going to unearth them. We are going to smoke them out. And we have no fear of doing so. And we are going to bring back our freedom. We are going to bring back the tenets that will free us. Beginning with education. One of the things is mentioned here, and I hope people have noted this, is our education system creating workers or innovators, critical thinkers or slaves. We must interrogate it from independence. Because even our history, if you ask people, even people my age, unfortunately, just basic history on how Kenya was formed, where Kenya came from, how we came to be. I remember in some of my campaign tours in University of, I think it was Kenyatta University, how was Kenya made? And it took a long time for people to get to, it was 1883, 1889, they were saying, and it's the Mzungu, you know, it took a long time to get that answer from them. They do not know the history because the history that has been tabled to them in schools has been adulterated by the same colonialists and perpetuated by our own local colonialists who don't want us to know our greatness. We are a great people and we must break these shackles to achieve our greatness. And they are both political and economic. They go hand in hand. You can see South Africa struggling. They've managed to break through political, right? But and I can tell you, they are far ahead of us politically, although they're a newer democracy. That is a country where they jail their presidents. You know, this is how far they've gone, right? They are now breaking through, trying to break through an economic revolution, and it's going to be very rough. It's been very rough because the owners of capital are resisting, supported by many international quotas. We are going to break it fast in Kenya. We are a country of firsts. And this is the beginning. The journey we have begun here with this expose, I pray is something that all Kenyans hold on to, grab with both hands and legs and feet, and we carry this to our emancipation. This is my prayer. It is not for me, it is for all of us.
Wow. Okay. Oh, that's powerful. It's not for me, it's for all of us. Okay. And guys, now you're back. Those are, what was that? Anyway, good morning, GB. What an amazing panel. Thank you. Kenya's trade policies need to. I'll give you a wrap up. Kenya's trade policies need to direct the country towards a trade surplus that will lead us to being debt free. Arnold is correct on that. It's the interest repayment that are hurting us. Martin Kangara, great conversation by a brilliant panel. It's really enlightening. Because now, well said, Mr. Wanjigi, a life of dignity. Okay, Kenya in a nutshell, they eat, we pay. They eat, we pay. There are two sets of Kenyans in Kenya today. Those in Utopia, Kenya, and those in real Kenya. The former representing the latter. Total disconnect. All right, Atkesa says, well put, Mr. Wanjigi. Well put, Mr. Wanjigi. Well put, sir. Thank you so much. All right, I wish I could open up the calls further, but I think we can keep this conversation going as we move forward. Yes. Ojuang, please, just wrap it up in strictly 1 minute. Strictly 1 minute.
Don't act like you're part of the haste. Yeah, you part of the haste, my young man. I'm an authority. Right now, sabotage right here. But very fast, I understand. Right. It's very uncomfortable. I've monitored his body language. But very fast, Frank Fanon said that colonized people are sick people. This is part of being sick, that this has gone on for so long and nobody saw it. Even a good vampire knows that if he sucks all the blood, there will be no blood tomorrow. And that is what you call subsidy and all those other things. But it is aptly put that all this media, the agenda setting, all this education, all this English is meant to pacify us and to be a complicit into our own sabotage. I think that we have an opportunity to think big. They say a general is who see what others don't see. Otherwise, if you only see the same thing that others see, you will not be able to. So I will urge Kenyans to stop these mundane dreams of how to peanut dreams, kind of. How do we pay debt? Or maybe if we harvest this way, right? And think in the blue ocean where there is larger, broader thinking, understand that we can one time marshal whatever we have. I was reading one book that I want to, it's titled Obstacles is the Way. That those who make it are those who look at the obstacles and are able to push whatever they have, turn them upside down. And I think that Kenya will be in right hands. Thank you, Wanjigi, thank you, Arnold, and thank you, Bitok. I think that we need to ask these questions and not assume and be pacified to start from the legitimacy of the debt. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming in. Asante Mheshimiwa. I know, Arnold, you still have something to say. I wish you all the very best. These are the minds that we want to see running the parliament. Who can ask questions. Come out and about Kona. What are you saying?
I'm going to resist.
What are you going to resist?
Don't worry, just proceed.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in, Mheshimiwa. I really appreciate that you made time. And let's keep this going. Let's continue having this conversation. As patriotic Kenyans, let's continue looking at this country objectively. The interest that we know Obama said that we don't, it's not our country. We've borrowed it from our children. So we have a responsibility of making it better for them. So we cannot make it better for them if we continue using the side mirror and making all the mistakes that we've continued making without interrogation. The problem with this system, interrogate somebody say, but when you look at deeply at the facts that we continue to have, then I mean, nothing else can speak better than what we're able to see. And I vote for this. I stand for this. And I can guarantee you that we're going to hear more of this as we move forward. And anything else that comes in to redeem this nation, we'll continue having that conversation here. Because this is a tackle, and we keep tackling the nation and everything that is going to redeem this nation and is going to make this country a better place for not only our children, for even the generation who are going to come after, even forgotten about ourselves. You know, there'll be a time other tumejisahau hata sisi wenyewe. So we have a responsibility of building a better country for those people. Until tomorrow, diasporans, I hope you're ready for the diaspora edition. So please check it up and continue with this conversation. We keep driving it. I'll send it to Chairman Arama so that you can pick up from there. I'm seeing the guys from the UK are very excited about tomorrow as well to pick it up from Australia. Ambassador Alfred Sergeant Rasema Salimi WANJIGI, they're ready for tomorrow to pick up the diaspora edition. And maybe you need to make time as well and speak to these Kenyans in diaspora. This fine time when you have time,
Diaspora greet Elizabeth. We call her in the Luo Olesa.
Olesa.
That's Elizabeth.
All right, thank you. Until tomorrow. This is the Tackle and Dance now. Bye-bye.
Asante sana.